is a massive name. For me, the biggest name outside of the heavyweight division. The reason this is such a big fight is Liam Smith is truly, truly world level.
Styles make fights, and these two styles make for a potential barn burner. Who wants it more, who needs it more, or simply who is just better?
Okay, James, you know the rules. The big man commands the whole team. Defend yourselves the whole team. Don't let us touch balls.
We're so glad he's now here.
Just trying to time him. Good right hand there. Smith timed it well.
Hand to the body. Looks a bit more expansive on the left elbow of Smith. Hard sometimes he's getting through, but it's just not really giving Smith too much of an opportunity to do his own work this time though. And let's go with the left hand. He is all over the place, and this could be over. And Liam Smith is on the brink. 2 minutes remaining. Down goes Eubank again. The surrounding is about to come in from Roger, and the referee stops it. That was utterly extraordinary. Eubank with a good start to the round again, but Smith caught him in the corner. He dropped him with the left hand, and then it was all over.
Right guys, welcome to Between the Ropes, brought to you by Everlast. We're here in sunny Manchester. I suppose the weather's changing a little bit.
And we're rolling.
We're here. I am joined by Spencer Oliver and Johnny Nelson, and we are going to be breaking down. Let's start with the main event.
Break it down!
Yeah, we know what week it is. It's repeat or revenge. Chris Eubank Jr., Liam Smith. Johnny, what does Liam Smith have to do to win again?
Liam Smith has to make sure he doesn't become complacent, which I don't think he'll do. Liam Smith has to do exactly the same thing he did in the last fight and stick to that, and he gets the win.
Is that enough? Do you think what he did was enough? Because everybody that's watched the fight, and Chris Eubank himself has said he believes he was winning the fight. You know, he was teeing off shots. But was Liam Smith giving him those rounds?
Of course, he was walking him down, he was pressuring him. I was stood there with Natasha. And as the fight unfolded, I thought, oh my, he's just walking down, he's pressuring him, making him punch his way through. A lot of the Eastern Europeans do this. When you get there to box them and to spar with them, they'll put their hands up and you'll bang and be letting the shots go, and they'll be getting used to the shot. Letting you have 1 or 2 shots, you're thinking, I'm getting successful here. I'm in, then blam. And he was slowly but surely making Chris work at a pace that he didn't want to work at.
Liam Smith actually always gives the first 2 or 3 rounds away whilst he's working out his opponent, he's looking to set traps, and he's one of those opponents that if you switch off for a split second, he makes you play. He's called world class. That's what Liam Smith is, and he proved there that he is still very much world class. The only person that really needs to change something, and change something massively, and admitted that himself today, he said, Spence, for the first time in my career, I feel like I've been backed into a corner. My back's against the wall. Now you're going to find out, I've got demons to deal with myself. So he recognises all this, taking himself over to Vegas, training with Bomac, hasn't been long enough, for the last 5 or 6 weeks. All this remains to be seen, but that's what makes this fight so interesting, because of how conclusive that first one was. You don't really think there's any appetite for the rematch, but there's something in there that says to you, Eubank will do better this time than last time. I'm not saying he's going to win, but he'll do better.
It's Chris, when he got in here and the crowd were booing him, and he got a smile on, and he got pleasure out of it.
Yeah.
There's not many fighters that can get turned over in their last fight the fashion he did, and still evoke emotion where you still want to come back and see him getting turned over again.
Come back into the lion's den. I went interviewing all the crowd, by the way, and this really, really surprised me. There was 50+% that thought Eubank was going to win this fight.
See, that's the thing. I think
there was 50+%.
That is what upset Liam, because Liam's thinking, you know what? I've been boxing from being a kid. My family is like boxing royalty, dismiss the success we've had, and you think this gimmick, as in Chris, can beat me? He was upset. He was upset when Chris joked about 60%. He was upset when he talked about, was it filet mignon or whatever it is, sauté. He was upset when he said, when he came in a KFC jacket, these two guys will never be drinking buddies. And that kind of nonsense. Liam's not that kind of guy. He was upset. So when he came in and he wasn't classed as the A side, that hurt his pride. So there's no way in a million years he's going to make you second guess or think, well, it was lucky the first time. And that's why he's peed off now, because he thinks, nah, I might have it now.
we know that Chris has to change some things in order to win. What does he have to change? How does he win?
This is simple. This is simple right now. Chris is not going to change anything, as in stylistically. He's not going to change anything. He's not going to go over and he'll get a new game plan from Bomac, and that is important at this sort of level. But he's not going to implement anything any different to what he's doing already. There's one thing he needs to do to win this fight, and one thing only. He's got to stay focused and switched on for 3 minutes of each round, because what he done when he was adopted that that Roy Jones style, he went in there, he sat in the pocket, threw the shots. Smith is a quality operator. If you switch off for a second, he'll make you pay. Smith likes to go offense when offense is coming at him. When he's defending, he comes back quick. Eubank can't afford to switch off. That's the only thing. If he stays switched on, we've got a fight.
And the problem what Eubank did was this. He tried to outsmart and outbox a guy that was better boxing than him, that was out technically smarter than him in the ring, because he's steeped in that history from being a youngster. And so as far as Liam was concerned, this gimmick is trying to beat me at my own game. What Chris needs to do for this fight, he needs to do what he does well. He's amazingly fit, lets a lot of punches go. He needs to make it a Thomas Ernst, Marvin Hagler for 3 rounds on it, and that's his best chance.
It's weird because Chris Eubank is known for his engine, but he's also known for putting out minimal output when it comes to rounds, 25 shots per round.
I've got to tell you why he does that. Shall I tell you why he does that?
Why do you think?
Because he cuts corners, or because in the past he's cut corners. He's only listened to himself. Johnny would tell you, when you compete at a certain level, right, you need people to tell you what to do. Like, you know what I mean? Your trainer says you go for that run, you go for that run. He says you jump, you say how high. What I'm saying is, Chris, when you've got yes men around you, people answer to you as opposed to you answering to them. At elite level, that doesn't work.
And this is
I think that's what Chris recognised.
And this has been his problem, because remember, to see how he evokes emotion, and he doesn't, and he's not done it right, and he doesn't listen to people. Look at the success he has. So in 5-10 years' time, when he looks back on his career, he'll think, God, if I'd have just listened. So David Beckham wouldn't be David Beckham without Sir Alex Ferguson. Prince Nassim Hamid wouldn't have been Prince Nassim Hamid without Brendan Ingle. We can go on and on and on and on. You are not telling me he's going to get in there and say, I don't need to listen to anybody. Sure. And the thing is, 4.5 weeks to be with Bomac, this is not disrespecting Bomac. What I'm saying right now is this. There's not enough time for them to understand each other's language or terminology. Not enough time for him to implement it, where if he's tired or hurt, he does what he's told to do. There's not enough time, so that Bomac is just, I know it's disrespectful, but it's like his eye had gone. He's going there.
Do you know what Bomac says to me? So I asked him earlier on, what can you do like in a short space of time? What can you change? You know what he said? You know what he said? And he gave me the right answer. He said, Spence, it's plain and simple. We go back to basics, because that's what you do with Chris. He said, we don't want to confuse him, try and mess things up, because like Bomac is the trainer at the moment, Terence Crawford, etc. Chris has recognised that. It's all about installing the confidence and going back to basics. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? It's not about working on setting traps, certain shots, etc. Forget all that. Back to basics, staying disciplined and sticking to the game plan.
Any predictions?
I think it's repeat. Probably not as quick as early, but I think it's repeat. But I think it'll be a hostile, brilliant crowd. I think it'll be a great night of boxing. I think the build-up will be second to none. But I think it's repeat for Liam Smith.
Yeah, I'm with Johnny as well. I think that it's repeat for Smith. I think Eubank gives a much better account of himself this time than he did the first time. You just feel that speaking to him, he knows his back's up against it. When a fighter knows that, it brings out the best in them. Complacency played a part in the first one. We won't get it this time. But do I think that Eubank's got enough? Probably not. I'm going to go Smith points.
Let's look a little bit further down the...
You said points?
Yeah.
Damn, all right.
Yeah. I think we see the final bell.
Damn, all right, okay. I think we should have a bet on that. Can we do it?
Yeah, your 10 against my 5. Lovely.
My 5 as well. So if you,
there you go. We are. You got that. You got that. So we're in. Yeah.
We're in.
All right.
Let's look a little bit further down the card. We've got Adam Azim against Fanyard now. Adam is on a hot streak right now. Luckily, I would say he won't have loved it, but he was pushed the distance against a tough opponent last time out. How much will he have learnt from that?
That's all about development, I think that was needed for Adam Azim, so he doesn't go in there thinking he's going to blow everyone away. Fanyard, by the way, is a tough guy. I think 24 fights, 23 wins, only 1 defeat. That was 8 years ago. Ukrainian, got that Eastern European style, and he's tough. He's tough, and with what the Ukraine is going through at the moment, and the Ukrainian, wanting to represent their country, fighting for their people, that brings out more in them as well. I think Fanyard will give him another good test. He's not going to lie down easily. That 1 defeat was on points. Like I say, what was that, 5 years ago, Johnny?
Yeah.
And I think that this is a good test for someone who I believe is not a matter of if, but when he wins a world title.
I think it's a good learning fight for Adam. A good learning fight because he's going to have to ask questions of himself when he's put under pressure, when he exerts himself a little too much and he's a little tired. I think this is going to be that fight and he needs all shapes and sizes of opponents for that to happen. So when it comes to fighting for a world title, because I agree with Spence, I think that's where he'll get to that level. He'll have experienced almost everything and anything. And out of all the stable of fighters with BOXXER, I think he is the one that is every fight he's starting to learn something. You can see a change, a development, thinking good opponent, good fight, good pick, good shout.
All in agreement then?
Oh yeah.
Method?
I think that's a point stop.
I think it's a stoppage.
Oh man!
I'm going to go late stoppage too.
What? Is it 2 against 1? What's going on?
Shit, do you want to bet another fiver? Yeah?
Double quits.
Yeah. You're 10 against my 5, I'm in.
There you go. Make sure if you're betting, do it through Bet365, please. Hey! Right, there is another great, there's a lot of great fights on this card, but let's have a look at the heavyweights. In many ways, it could be a passing of the torch. Two of the most loved and liked guys in boxing, Fraser Clark, Dave Allen. A lot of ifs about Dave Allen. What ifs, how good is he now? Does he still have it? As far as age is concerned, he's younger than Fraser.
Do you know what concerns me? When a fighter says, when a fighter retires, what did he fight? He retired in 2020. He's had 4 fights, 4 or 5 fights, low-key fights since then, on really small places. But when he retired, when that goes into a fighter's brain, Johnny,
comes out your mouth.
at that level and comes out of your mouth, you always question them coming back. The manner that he got beat against David Price, a fight he was expected to win, and he got beat up bad. He retired on his stall in the 10th round, and you just saw that the fight had been beaten out of him, but he recognised that he was not at that sort of level. And he retired shortly after that. It wasn't good. He went to hospital after that fight or whatever. He's had that time out. But I always question a fighter, Johnny, I don't know about you, that retires at an age like you question the real desire for coming back.
So I think, and I'll not contradict myself because I've always said he should pack it. He shouldn't be fighting. I still don't think he should be fighting. So he's now a prize fighter. Now he's come back. Once it comes out of your mouth as a fighter that I've retired, there's something in you that's died.
Yeah.
It's gone, and it's very hard to conjure up. Now, so Dave's proved that he can only get to a certain level as a fighter. So his ambitions to be world champion have gone. That's about making dough. So we're making some ridiculous dough. But the problem is this: he will suffer the consequences of the constant shellacking he's been getting in these last few fights of his career in 5-10 years time.
Yeah, sure.
And then we're going to be saying, oh my God, have you seen Dave Allen? What a shame. And this is why I say I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He shouldn't be boxing. So now it's about Fraser. It's about how Fraser is developing, how it's going to bring him on. He's going to be in there with a tough, experienced fighter that probably not got the win about him, but he's got a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
So Fraser's got to see if he can dismantle him, be disciplined enough to box him and not do what everybody else has done and try and punch the fight out of him, gas themselves out and get turned over by Dave. So this is about. It's about Fraser. It's not about Dave. Dave shouldn't be there.
When you talk about motivation, he won't have the same motivation he once had, obviously, before he retired. However, everybody writing you off, and this potentially being a big opportunity, does that swing the pendulum?
It presents something different, definitely, than what the small hall shows that he's been boxing on, etc. But I think that going in, he's probably testing himself against Fraser Clark. Can I still compete at this level? Can I still do it? And this will be the telling point. If he loses his fight, Johnny, tell me this. If he loses his fight, Dave Allen, which we expect he will, does he retire immediately afterwards?
He'll say he retires. But the thing is about him is this. There's an acceptance that he is said out loud. There's an acceptance to say, I'm not good enough. There's an acceptance to say, I'm retiring, I can't do this. So now he's put himself back in the firing line. He's accepted. So if he's under pressure, he's upset thinking, you know what, I've had to go. Most fighters, until you've accepted that, you know what, you've got nothing, you're in here for whatever reason.
But that changes something
here,
right?
Your mindset. So when it gets hard, when it gets, you're happy to come second place, you're comfortable coming second place. You're not arguing with yourself thinking, shall I go down? There's an acceptance about him.
Can he win it?
It's about mindset. He's got a puncher's chance.
He can win it.
He's got a puncher's chance, and that's it.
What do you think, Spence?
Yeah, well, listen, I'm sort of pretty much reading from the same page as Donny. I think that once that acceptance of you retiring and you're playing going in and out of it, and sort of toying with the idea of coming back. I don't like that in a fighter. Dave Allen, for me, he had a good run. He had a good spell. You know, he hit there. He topped the O2 arena. You know, he beat people like Lucas Brown, who's former
and look
WBA
at that body
champion.
shot. Look at that body shot came out of the blue.
Career.
That's the puncher's chance. That body shot on Lucas Brown. That's the. He dropped something like that, and that came out of the blue. That's the puncher's chance.
I just think that Fraser Clark at the moment, you know, he's
Momentum.
He's in that space right now. He's got that momentum, and I just feel that he's going to go out there and he's going to do a job on Saturday night.
Do we agree on the method this time round?
I think it's a points win for Fraser Clark.
I don't. I think it's a stoppage.
Yeah, I'm going to go stoppage too.
All right. Wait. What
There
if
we
we
go.
say Dave gets stopped or the referee stops Dave?
It's both a stoppage.
Yeah, but come on, man. All right. I take that back. The referee stops Dave.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all a stoppage.
Damn you.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Leave your comments below. Only one way to find out, and that is to tune in Saturday night on Sky Sports pay-per-view.